All right, we are live. Welcome to Lunch Money, the show where we talk about money, investing, personal finance, budgeting, with the hope that your financial life can get a little easier, with the hope that you can live a life that you enjoy, work at a job that you enjoy, not be totally overwhelmed and dreading finances. So that's the hope. Welcome to the show. I'm joined by my Aunt Melissa.
Hey there.
So she's my
right-hand
co-host,
man.
my right hand. Technically, you're on the left now.
This is true.
If you'll notice, the first, let's visit a little bit.
Let's visit.
But the first thing is the studio has changed a little bit, which I just noticed your monitor.
Oh, it's
Your monitor's in
showing.
my camera, so we'll scoot that a little bit forward. And Melissa used to be on my right. She used to be my right hand woman. Now you're my left hand woman. And so we got some new cabinets. I'm eventually, we got big plans, but I'm trying to do this slowly. I have a real business that makes real money, and that is funding this venture, which is losing me lots of money. And so I'm trying to not lose lots of money too quickly. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just doing a little bit at a time. But
that's what you tell us about money too, is like make baby steps, a little bit at a time.
And I'd been thinking about, I needed some storage. It also I needed something to look good in the background. And I was looking on Amazon, and I looked at IKEA, I looked at a bunch of different places, and I found these cabinets. Did I tell you how much these cabinets were?
You did, but I don't remember.
How much do you think the cabinets were? Comment below how much you think these cabinets. They're nice.
They're
metal.
remarkably large.
They were easy to put together. I did have to put them together. They shipped very well. $100, $100 each, including shipping per cabinet, because that can add quite a bit to furniture. So for 3 of these big old metal cabinets, and I love the green. It's my color green.
Yep.
It's like my green
pants.
My green Sam's Club pants. My green, which we do have an update about, because
Really? Have they heard you? Have they heard?
I've had my slides out of order. That is not Sam's Club. Oh my goodness, getting ahead of myself. Sam's Club pants. These are so if you remember from last week, they were out of my size pants in my color. So these are 2 inches longer than I would prefer.
But
they're okay.
Really?
They're okay. I do prefer.
You're very particular. So
are you familiar with like break and no break?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
no.
so I'm not an expert on this, but my in-laws are a little more familiar with it, especially with like suit pants. Like break is there's a little gap between the shoe and the pant where your sock shows, and then no break is right. And there may be another term, because then there's like where it's like way too much and it's like
hanging
gathering at your shoe. So I prefer like a slight no break, but these are when I stand up. When I sit down, there's you guys don't care. I'm going into way too much detail, but they have a little bit more of a no break than I would prefer.
But
they're fine. They're fine. They're adequate, and I still get a $15 Sam's Club pants that I love. So anyway, that's the update on that. Next is Amazon Prime Day is coming up, and so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit because. I don't know. I feel like sales like this can be triggering for some people.
Yeah.
And here's my philosophy on this. I've talked about this a lot, as I keep a list of things. There's certain things that are going to do really well and be cheaper. And so I've wanted some smart outlet plugs so that I can control some lights on a timer. And for that, I would need an Alexa to run that. So those types of things, Alexa devices, Amazon devices, Kindles, any of those kind of things are going to be dirt cheap. They're going to be cheaper than you can ever get them. It's a great time to get them. There's gonna be other stuff. Clothing brands tend to be on sale. Tech stuff, you can find some good deals. But here's the thing. They want to create urgency so that you feel like you have to buy it now. It'll go on sale again. So if you don't have the money, don't make unwise decisions that you will financially regret later as your credit card balance increases and you're not paying it off. Like, let's take time. Let's be measured. So,
and I'm never convinced it's really that much on sale unless I really know the price. I have this feeling that they say a lot of it's on sale, but I'm not sure that's true.
Yeah, and there are sites. I think it's Camel. There's a couple of places that you search that will show the historic retail price of something. So if there is something you're looking at and you're like, is it a good deal? Because they will increase the price and then discount it. But here's the thing. If you don't have the money for it now,
just don't do it.
Black Friday's coming. Yeah. And then there's the next sale after that. There's going to be there's sale after sale. They want it to feel urgent. And it's funny because they advertise it as Prime Day is July 8th through 11th, but there's already deals going. Like it's already started. So anyway, it is not as limited as they would like you to think.
Yes.
Now, moving on to a segment of Get My Goat.
Oh.
yeah. And I don't know. We're going to see if this one gets
Is
your
my
goat.
goat
This
gonna
one
be
is
gotten?
personal.
Okay.
This one is close to you.
Uh-oh.
And you don't know about
it. I don't want to be mad. Am I going to be
Ooh,
mad?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay.
So, as viewers, our loyal many dozens of viewers, we've gotten into 3D printing. My son and I.
Yes.
And my son and I are business partners. And
Yeah.
he's 10 years old. We have we're printing for Melissa.
Yep.
She has an Etsy shop called Picky Polly.
Yep.
And she sells what are called picky pads, which are beads and silicone that you can pick out. It's real good for neurodivergent people, people with skin picking disorders, and those sorts of things. And then we've added these. What do you call them? I call them spiky rolls.
Yeah, they're pain stem toys.
Pain stem toys, which we don't have one to show you. And so we've been 3D printing those. So Bamboo Labs is the printer that we go with, and we really, really like. And they're running a big sale right now. It's their annual anniversary sale. And the 3D printers that we have, when we bought this 3D printer 2 months ago, $360, they dropped the regular price of that to like $250, I think.
That's what it
and
was.
So, and then Melissa bought another one. And then on this sale, it's now, was it $220?
It was $219, yeah.
$219. So 2 nights ago, Melissa gave me the go ahead to go ahead and buy another printer.
Third one, yeah.
So we bought it. I bought it, but I haven't told you this yet. At checkout, with the first 2 printers, you'll remember free shipping on orders over $89.
I noticed the invoice come through, and I was wondering.
And then I went to get this one, and it was like $20 or $30 shipping or something like that.
It ended up being almost $250, which I was like, this is not on sale. It's not on sale. Those makes me want to cuss.
Someone's goat is getting got. You guys are seeing it, folks.
How dare they?
I know.
It was the same price as I bought.
Roughly after the shipping. So, here's the thing: is it legally wrong?
No.
Is it morally wrong?
Probably not.
Is it intentionally deceptive?
Yes, it is.
And businesses, like, I want a code of conduct for businesses. Can we not be intentionally deceptive?
Yeah.
Like, that's intentionally deceptive.
Yes.
You normally, like, you had it on sale. You had the regular price was $250 with free shipping. You put it on sale for $220 and then make it a $20 to $30 shipping. Makes it the same. It's not, there's no difference. You've just mixed it up. And if people had bought from you before, they know there's free shipping.
Yeah. So they assume.
Typically.
So they assume. As we assumed.
I'm annoyed. You should be annoyed too. If you have another like good lead on a Get My Go, I have no problem coming up with these. So, all right. So we're gonna move on to thanking our new subscribers. We're on a mission to overtake Dave Ramsey, the Godfather. And last week we want to overtake his subscriber count. He's at 979,000. We are at 500. This is last week. 558. So I was going to show this week we're up to 565. Wow. 7 new subscribers.
Is that the biggest jump?
No.
Since we've been
ish. It's it's a good week. I would say it's average to good. So thank you guys for subscribing. Missy is the only one who is a public subscriber that I can acknowledge. So thank you, Missy, for subscribing to the channel, and thank you to the other 6 anonymous subscribers. Look at this though. Percentage wise, Dave Ramsey went. Wait, 270. Oh no, no. He went up. Sorry, I went back. Never mind. He's crushing us. Help us. We're on a mission to overthrow the Godfather. And I did throw out a challenge last week. You can't tell this because I wasn't signed in to YouTube when I took the screenshots today, but I subscribed to the Ramsey Show account.
Yes, you did.
Just because I'm a good sport, and I'm sure they're aware of our challenge. And so I would encourage them to also, they're probably getting nervous. So I'm challenging them to also subscribe to the Tim Gosnell channel. So, all right. I never teased today's topic.
You didn't.
So
tease it
here
now.
we go. Today's topic is Jack's notes. Investing 101, how to get started with investing for retirement as a beginner.
Okay.
So, and I love this topic. And we have our money milestones which you can find and download at timgosnell.com, which I need to make a lower third for or something. These are the order in which we recommend building wealth, investing, paying off debt, all that kind of stuff. And so really, when we're talking about investing 101, we're going to be talking about money milestone number 1. But I'm going to be going into more detail than money milestone goes into. So the two major things we need to figure out when we're talking about investing is what type of account, and then what should you invest in? How familiar are you with investing?
Oh, like none.
And this Melissa, you are who this is for. And this, like a little disclaimer at the front, this is not investing advice legally, allegedly. This is what I would do. And this is what I have done. This is simplified. And so if you're somebody who's been doing this for a while, you might say, well, but this, that, or you didn't mention this. I'm trying to keep this really, really simple for those of us that are beginners. But I think that this simple advice can carry you on through to being a millionaire to a multimillionaire. You can get more complex. There are reasons to get more complex, but overall, I don't think you have to. Mm-hmm. So this stuff will work. So, okay. So what type of account? When I say what type of account, do you have any idea what that means?
I mean, do you mean like an IRA?
Yes.
Wow, look at me.
We're going to go. So we'll look at, and then what should you invest in within that account? So there's two major types of accounts. We have tax advantaged accounts and we have brokerage accounts when we're talking about investing. So there's a bunch of different tax advantage accounts. Okay. But we want to talk about tax advantage because brokerage accounts give you no tax advantage. And so typically you would put it in a brokerage account after you've maxed out all of your tax advantage account. You have no other tax advantage options. And then there's other reasons, but that's one of the primary reasons. So the types of tax advantage accounts that we have are traditional IRA, Roth IRAs, 401ks, Roth 401ks, HSAs. So this first section is retirement stuff. Now then we have health savings accounts, which is typically referred to as FSA. We have HSA, and then there's FSA, and then there's 529, which is for like education, right? So those are all different. Basically, for tax advantage accounts, the government says, hey, we'll give you some advantage either on the earnings or a deduction from your income for having this type of account. So that's what we want to focus on. And then we're primarily going to focus on these three. For retirement, Roth IRA, 401k, and then Roth 401k. So we're going to talk about those. The order of priority that I would say, hey, we're going to start with one of these, but maybe they're not all available to you so if your employer has a match and they have a Roth 401k, that's the one I'm going to go with. But they may not have a Roth 401k. They may just have a 401k. So if they have a match and a 401k, then we want to do that. If you're unemployed, maybe you're domestic engineer. What do we call it? Stay-at-home mom.
Oh, what is that?
Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom. Then we're going to do a Roth IRA. Maybe you're self-employed. You might have some other options, but Roth IRA. Maybe your employer does not offer anything. Then we're going to go Roth IRA. So we're going to walk through those steps and say, hey, do I have this option? If not, then we're going to move all the way down to the bottom. And everyone, if you have an income at all and you file taxes, whether single or jointly, then you're going to have that option for a Roth IRA. All right. So then the question is, how much do we invest? For money milestone 1, there's two things that I want you to do. I either want you to max out your employer's match, and that's the minimum. That's all that we want to do right now on this step. And then if you don't have the employer's match, then we want to just start with $10 a month. $10 a month.
That's easy enough.
I wanted to start with a number that anyone could do. And most people, when they give you their kind of like order of operations of the order they recommend do things, they don't recommend starting off with investing. But I wanted to start mine off with like an immediate win for your financial future that's easy and attainable. I feel like these are very attainable. And so I wanted to start you off with that. So you got to win right at the beginning. So you could say, hey, I'm actually investing in my future. If you have significant amount of credit card debt or student loan debt or other sorts of things we're trying to dig out of, it could take a long time to feel that traction. And I want you to feel that traction. I want you to get a win right away. And this is a win that you can get. So $10 a month. There was a study a while ago about investing $50 a month over the past 20 years into the S&P 500.
Yeah.
20 years, $50 a month. We've talked about this before, but I want to see, do you have a ballpark range of what you think $50 a month in the S&P 500 would be? Because I know I'm saying $50 now because that's what the study was. $10 a month doesn't sound like a lot, but
$50 a month isn't
isn't that much more. And $100, most people's car payments, that's why I talk about getting rid of car payments so you can free up that money, because then $100 or $200 a month doesn't seem like much. All right, so $50 a month over 20 years. What does Melissa think that would be?
Oh my gosh. Like even my simple math where I'm like 50 times 12. Okay, so I'm going to say 85,000.
That's good high. That's twice as much, about 40,000.
Okay.
Which I think the money that you would invested would be somewhere around 12,000 if I remember correctly. And then so you have $30,000 worth of growth over 20 years.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be encouraging, because if you're sitting here right now and you don't have anything, if you just say, hey, if I did 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 a month, I could have $40,000. I feel like for the average person to have 40,000, and again, you bump that up to 100 a month. Now we're at in 20 years $80,000. And then as we start getting some momentum, we start reducing our debt, we're able to increase that. It's really going to add up. This really adds. So $12,000 invested turns into $40,000.
That's crazy.
That's great, right? Yeah. And that could be your money. And then once you get 6 digits up there,
then it has the compound effect, right?
You have the compounding. The interest that you've earned is now earning interest, and it starts growing, and you start making 5 figures a year in interest, in growth. Crazy. It's a really good feeling, and you can get there. And this is where it starts. All right. So that's where I want you to start. And then what do we want to invest in is the next question. And I think I messed up my slide, but there's 2 questions I want you to ask here is, are you somebody who really wants to play it safe, or are you somebody who's okay and comfortable with a little bit of risk? So those are the 2. Again, I'm making this super simple. If you prefer to play it a little bit more safe, then we're going to go with what's called a target date fund. You pick a date. There's basically a target date fund for every year. There's going forward a bunch of years. So you would roughly pick a date where you would approximately want to retire, and then it's going to manage the investments through that time, and it's going to change as you get older to be even more conservative. And it's going to manage it for you. It's just a very easy set it and forget it thing. May not be quite as aggressive, which means you won't have as high of ups, but you also won't have as low of downs, right? The other thing, which is what I tend to do, because I am comfortable with a little bit of risk, a little more risk, and that is just put it all in the S&P 500. Again, I'm super simplifying things, but if you do one of these 2 things and you just kind of consistently invest, it's going to generally pay off for someone in the long run. So that's how I look at it. So we have our 3 steps for which type of account. We know how much we're going to invest, and we know which things we're going to invest in, and bam, you're done. I personally use Fidelity for my investment account. Vanguard would be another big one. I don't like, the more modern, like, Robinhood or Webull, for a lot of reasons, which I won't get into now. So I try to stick with some of the big names, the big established names in the game. And so that's it. If this is something that you are interested in just in general of getting your finances in order, your budget is a great place to start. And I've put together a full course system. It doesn't require any apps. It doesn't require any spreadsheets. It's as automated as a budget can be, and you can sign up for that today for free. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time on the channel.